Hey guys, I've finally seen it, guys. This is going to be a spoiler free. I will probably do a spoiler review, but this is going to be a spoiler free of the film Endgame. It's up to you if you still haven't seen it, whether to watch this or not, but it's spoiler. So, first off, I followed my rules and I didn't drink anything. Basically, I woke up at 7 o'clock and the only liquids I actually had was milk in my cereal. So when watching the actual film, so the showing was at 10 and it finished around half one, and I pretty much started to get a headache through the whole film. But that's what you get for drinking in liquids, but I didn't need the toilet, so that's a plus. Anyway, on to the film. So obviously basically it's a sum up from what happened in Infinity War. I won't mention any. Shall I mention what others? Basically, if you're watching this review, you would have seen Infinity War. So this bit is going to be a spoiler from Infinity War, but how Thanos has wiped half obviously, the whole universe, and obviously in this film, which you kind of get anyway. So it's not really a spoiler, but they're obviously trying to sort of sort things out of how, it happened. Now, first off, it being 3 hours, did I feel that the film needed to be 3 hours? So watching the film or anything, I wasn't bored at all. It's like fully fun packed. Things were happening. You were like, whoa, to oh no, to oh wow, to oh my god, to yeah. So it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was boring or anything like that. You could argue with the some parts where it was like, you can understand why it was 3 hours for starters. I may, if I do a spoiler free, go into detail as in did it need to be 3 hours. Um, Overall, I thought the film was good. It dealt with obviously the trauma for the people who obviously survived, and obviously how they've lost a lot of people close to them and stuff like that. So I went through that. It did still have its slight one-liners. I didn't think it was too much to it, took away from the fact that, this devastating incident happened. I didn't think it was too much of that. It was only like slight, it wasn't like laugh out loud moments. It was kind of like a little giggle sort of moments. But I didn't feel it like, you still saw how traumatized obviously these heroes were, of what's happened and how they've lost, you know, they've lost loved ones, and obviously how it all devastated, the rest, of the world and everything like that. Now, the one character that's in this, I will mention. No, actually, I won't. Forget it. I'm not going to mention it. I'm trying to keep this as non. It's hard to do a review of a film without spoiling it, especially if it's a film like this where everything is happening. So I won't mention that. But overall, I think it rounded it up really well. Like, it rounded up the whole, the whole, collection, obviously, because all the other films like Doctor Strange, Iron Man, it all, led up to obviously this moment with, Thanos. And I think the way that they ended it was quite good in a way, where it, closed that chapter of that whole story of the Infinity Stones and Thanos getting them, all of them, and stuff like that. I think he wrapped it up really well, doing that. I will mention though, there's a moment in here which I wish they did better. It's at the very, very, very beginning. I felt if they were gonna go, because when that came up, I was like, oh no, this is gonna feel some hurt. But it was like, oh, okay, it happened. I think if they were going to go that way, they should have done it a little bit more without giving too much away. They should have done it a little bit more sort of, not dramatic, but a little bit more of the pulling of the heartstrings. I think doing it that way was kind of like, oh, okay, because I expected to be more. I expected it to feel a little bit more, but it was a little bit, really. That kind of moment, it was like you could have done that scene a lot better. And obviously, there's two big moments in this film which are, devastating. There's another one, there's two major ones, and then there's another one that's sort of a major one, but as again, it's like sums up at the very end, it kind of sums up the whole, you know, the whole Infinity War, all the other movies, summed them up all together perfectly, and I really just did that, didn't I? Anyway, sorry. But got a little bit distracted. But as I said, without giving it away, it's really good. If you are obviously Marvel fans, you will enjoy it. If you've never seen a Marvel film in your life, then you're not really gonna get it as much, because at the beginning it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's slow, because it's not slow. As I said, I wasn't getting bored or anything like that, but you get more action like in the middle of the film. So there's quite like a big chunk of it where you find out what's happening now. It's happened what each Avenger is doing and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it was slow. It is still interesting, but just to let you know, the action happens more so in the middle of the film. And seeing as I'm saying that, seeing the film in 3D, I would say it's kind of not worth it for me. I don't really review 3D movies because my eyes don't really take it really well. The only 3D film that I've seen that I was like, wow, is Doctor Strange. That in 3D is really good. Like, moments where I thought I was gonna vomit, really good. But but yeah, with 3D I'm a bit iffy. But it was the only like early show that was in that was showing at 10 o'clock. The other one was like at 11, or it might have been 12, which was in 2D, and it was kind of like, I want to see it in the morning. I was anticipating to see this movie. Is it worth the hype? To be honest with you, I didn't really see any hype because I was avoiding any sort of, as much as Facebook. Like, literally I was only looking at 2 feeds and that was it, and then I'm off. I was avoiding any sort of spoilers and stuff like that, so I wasn't sure how much the hype is. I knew though it smashed box office sales massively, like dramatically, like really well. As I kind of went off a tangent, but if you have not seen any Marvel movie, I definitely recommend that you need to see Infinity War. You can't just jump into this one and watch Endgame because you'll be like, what the hell just happened? If you definitely recommend, you need to see Infinity War. Maybe not the other movies, but Infinity War you need to, because you need to see, because you may be a little bit lost. But overall, I did enjoy it. As I said, there were some heartfelt moments that happened. Um, but yeah, I think the way they obviously summed it all together and put it together, is really well. It's a good ending to the whole saga. Um, Even the end credits was like, wow. The end credits got me more, I'm not gonna lie. At some point, like, obviously I won't mention it here, but not the end credits, there's no end scene, by the way. There's no end of credit scene, but obviously the credits was kind of a little bit, wow, this is it, isn't it? It's, the end of this Avengers saga is, ending. Made me think though, while watching that, maybe this is going to be the last, superhero movie for a while. Obviously, you've got another Spider-Man movie coming out soon. Maybe they'll stick with Spider-Man. There's another thing. I'm going to stop now. There's another thing that I want to happen, but obviously it will spoil it a little bit. Um, but yeah, so overall, I think it's the way that obviously it ended and everything. It was really good. They summed it up really well. Um, you know, but yeah. So I do, if you've liked, obviously, if you're a Marvel fan, I'm going to see it anyway. But I do recommend that you do see it. As I said, if you've not seen any other Marvel film and you haven't seen Infinity War, I highly recommend that you see Infinity War before you see this film, because you may be a bit like, what the fuck. But yeah, because it doesn't necessarily sum it up what's happened. Obviously it mentioned that obviously Thanos is white, blah blah blah, but obviously you've not really, basically just see Infinity War if you've not seen it already before you see this film. So that's it. I'm sorry if this spoiler free film is like, what review is like, what the fuck, but it's kind of hard to do like a spoiler free review of a film that's like everything's happening and stuff like that. But I will have a spoiler review probably up soon. But yeah, that's it for this review. So bye guys.